Not having any fun. I can't even believe I didn't make the shot. I should have just taken it. I know I have that ability, but I just didn't do it.
Ricky?
Yes, Lord.
It's not the Lord.
Oh.
Good gravy. It's me.
Oh.
How are you?
Oh, hi, me.
It's
it
Pastor
doesn't-
Mariah. How are you,
oh,
Ricky?
Oh, hi, Pastor Mariah. Yeah.
Hi. What's the matter? You sound kind of grumbly, like you got some spit and vinegar in you.
Pastor Mariah.
Yes.
I didn't spit, and I don't like vinegar.
I didn't say you spit, or I said you got a little spit and vinegar.
Oh, what?
It's a saying, meaning you're a little bit on the spicy side today.
Oh, okay.
Got a little
Yeah.
attitude happening.
Sure. Yeah, I'm going to be spicy today.
Yeah, got a little
Yeah.
attitude happening there. What's going on?
Well, I wish I would have just taken the shot, Pastor Mariah.
Oh, were you playing soccer today?
Yeah.
And I'm guessing things didn't go the way you had wanted them to go?
No, like today, I had the opportunity to score the winning goal for my team.
Oh.
And
okay.
I laid a big fat egg right on the field.
You literally laid an egg on the field?
Oh, Pastor Mariah.
What? You said you laid an egg
It's
on
just
the
an
field?
expression.
I know. I was just trying to lighten the mood. You're so grumpy. Do you want to talk about it?
No, I'm fine.
Okay. Well, then I'm going to keep talking to the
But
kids.
you know what makes me the most mad?
Oh, we're doing this now?
Yeah,
Okay.
I know that I could have made this shot.
So then why didn't you make it?
I don't know.
Did you not have enough confidence in yourself?
Well, I don't know. I mean, we still won and everything,
Well,
but
that's good. Did you practice?
Well, yeah, Pastor Mariah, I practiced, but you asked if I had enough confidence.
I did.
It was one of those scenarios,
Uh-oh. I feel a
Like-
story coming on.
when you're right in the heat of the battle,
Yes.
and then you start having all of these thoughts pop into your head, like, what if I miss? What if I mess up? What if I trip? What if? And then I just pass the ball off to my teammate.
Okay, that was a whole lot of what ifs happening in what I'm guessing is a very short amount of time.
Yeah, it was pretty
So-
quick.
So you did not have full confidence in yourself today to be able to take the shot, even though you said you'd been practicing.
Yeah.
And your coach obviously felt you had the ability because he put you in the game.
Oh, yeah, I'm one of the starters.
Right. So
Right.
obviously your coach felt you had the abilities to do it, and you've
Yeah.
practiced, so you know what you're supposed to be doing.
Yep,
It was
yep.
just kind of like a head thing that you just didn't fully trust in your abilities.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess so.
So Ricky, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Did you pray about the game before you went out and started playing?
Did I pray? Let me think about this. I put my shoes on.
Okay.
I laced them up.
Right.
Had my shin guards on.
Right. Your soccer socks?
Soccer socks. Oh, you got to have soccer socks.
Right.
Yep.
Your uniform?
Yep, I had my uniform on. Let me think here.
Did you
I
pray?
hydrated.
Okay, that's good. Did you pray?
I warmed up. Doesn't that count? That's important for soccer, right? You got to warm up, do your stretches.
It is. Did
Right?
you toe touches?
Toe touches, yep. I did all that stuff.
Did you pray?
No, I don't think that I did pray. I did everything else, though. It should have worked. I should have been ready to go. I did every steps, I had everything right,
But you didn't pray.
but I didn't pray.
Do you think that maybe if you had taken just a few minutes, or like even a minute, and said, God,
minute.
I have practiced. I know that my coach believes in me. I know you've given me these skills, the abilities to do this. Can you help me to have faith and trust in my abilities that you have given me to do well? Do you think maybe instead of having all those what ifs come into your head, that maybe those what ifs would have been gone and you would have heard God's voice saying, you've got this. I know
Yeah.
you can do this. Do you think
Yeah.
maybe that would have changed the whole outcome?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that would have helped, but Pastor, I did all those other steps too, and
Well, you need to do all
that stuff's
those.
important, right?
Oh, no, absolutely. You
Okay.
need to do all those other steps, but then you also need to trust God
You need to trust God. You need to pray.
and have faith
Yeah.
and trust that God
Oh.
will take all of that time that you have practiced, all those skills that you've learned, all those abilities that He's given you to all work together at that very moment.
Yeah. Kind of sounds like that one thing you always tell us, pray, do your best, and God will take care of the rest.
Kind of. Pray, do your
Yeah.
best, and God will take care of the rest.
I kind of forgot that part.
Yeah, that's okay. We all need a
Yeah.
reminder every once in a while. But next time, my suggestion would be, as you're doing those things, just be praying, God, give me the confidence. Give me the knowledge that I know that I know that I know that I can do this.
Confidence and pray before the match.
Yes,
Yeah.
pray before the match.
Yeah.
But you did say your team did win, right?
Yeah, we did win. I mean, it just wasn't me that scored the winning goal.
So you're not the one being called the champion, and that probably hurts a little bit.
No, yeah. I mean, I like being called the champion. It happened last time, but not this time.
I mean, I get it. We all like
you
to
know,
be,
yeah.
the reason our team did so well.
Yeah, but I mean, we still did win.
So that's good. So
yeah, it was good.
did you cheer on, or did you congratulate the rest of your teammates?
Well, come to think of it, Pastor Mariah, I kind of went off in a little bit of a huff.
Yeah, you noticed, like, you came up here in a huff.
Yeah.
The whole spit and vinegar thing, remember?
Yeah, I should probably go apologize to my teammates for that.
I think
and
that
maybe
would be really good. God would really appreciate that, too.
And maybe then I can celebrate with them.
I think that'd be fantastic. You should celebrate. Your team did great. They won.
Yeah.
That is a good thing. So
I think I'm going to go do that right now, in fact.
I think that's good. Go apologize and go celebrate.
Okay. All right. Thanks for helping me, Pastor Mariah. I really appreciate talking with you. You're pretty smart.
Well, thanks. I'm glad you came up, and I'm glad you talked about this. So thank you so much for coming up and sharing with us today.
All right. We'll see everybody. Bye.
You may say bye, Ricky? So let me ask you guys, have you ever wanted to be like the hero of a story? Or have you ever wanted to be the reason like your team won a big game or a championship? Ever? Nobody? So just the ladies? Well, then let me hear you say it. Okay, so we all want to be the reason our team does well, right? We all want to be the reason why we contribute to things going really good, right? North, south, east, west, anything? Yeah, right? Well, today we're going to talk about a lady in the Bible. We're going to talk about a gentleman too, but we're going to talk about why it's so important to have faith. When you hear the word faith, what do you think of? Believing. Okay, good answer. Gentlemen, when you hear the word faith, what do you think of? Sean, what do you think of when you hear the word faith? You think of God? Okay. Jax, when you hear the word faith, what do you think of? Praying. That's good. Brody, what do you think of? Yeah. So having faith in God to help you get the job done. I like it. Isaiah, what do you think of when you hear the word faith? Beliefs. Ira, what do you think of? God. These are great answers. Ladies, what do you think of when you hear the word faith? Who else can help me out over here? Raya, what do you think of? Oh, sorry. Raveya, sorry. Raveya. What do you think of when you hear the word faith? Do you want me to come back to you? No. Faith in you. Okay. She's got faith in you. Adeline, what do you think of when you hear the word faith? Gentlemen, our friends are over here talking. Can you not talk? Gentlemen. Can we put... I know. But the ladies were quiet and respectful when you guys were talking. Can you do the same for them? Can you show them that same respect, please? Thank you. Awesome. So, Adeline, what do you think of when you hear the word faith? Believing in something? Yeah, these are all, I think, good things. When I hear the word faith, I think of the word trust. What does trust mean now? I know it's a lot of questions early in the morning. Xavier, what does trust mean? That you can believe in God? Ira, what do you think trust means? You can trust someone? Okay, I like it. Ladies, do you have any suggestions for trust? Abigail. laws, so they're really good at keeping secrets. So when I think of trust and faith, they kind of go together. When I have trust in somebody, that means I can fully believe in them to do what they're going to do. And that's kind of like faith. Do you know that every single one of you exhibited trust when you came in to this sanctuary this morning? You did it? Yes, you did. You're exhibiting it right now. You sat down on that pew. If you didn't trust that pew to hold you, you never would have sat on it, right? But you do, or else you wouldn't sit on it. But then you're going to trust the floor. Oh, you see where I'm going with this now? Yeah, you see that now? Okay, yeah, every single one of you had to have trust in the fact that when you walked through that door, when you sat down on this pew, when we put 10 little bottoms on one pew, it was going to hold you. Trust comes by learning something. Trust comes by knowing that these pews are built well. Trust comes from knowing that when I turn on the electricity or I flip the switch, that lights are going to come on. With the exception of power outages, I understand that. But trust comes from us learning and spending time with that thing. So today we're going to talk about a lady, her name was Deborah. Everybody say hi, Deborah. That's Deborah. Yeah, but it's still Deborah. Can you work with me, Isaiah? Can you work with me a little bit? So we're going to talk about Deborah. And we're going to talk about Deborah's great faith. She's cute? I think so too. So let's read a bit about Deborah. So Deborah's story is found in the book of Judges, chapter 4 and 5. We're not going to read all of it, though. We're going to read starting in verse 5. All right, so verse 5 starts with this. Deborah. She would sit under the palm of Deborah. First of all, can we just point out how cool it is that she has her own palm tree? I want my own palm tree. The palm of Mariah. Like, I don't know. I like palm trees. I think it'd be fun to have one my name. Anyways, go ahead. Moving on. So she would sit under the palm of Deborah, between Ramah and Bethel, in the hill country of Ephraim and the Israelites. Israelites would go to her for judgment. Why do you think they would go to her for judgment? Why do you think she spent so much time sitting under a palm tree that, like, she got it named after her? What do you think? She was probably cold. That's why she sat under the palm tree? I don't know. Let's read and find out. What do you think? No, that's the case. I don't think I would go to somebody who made fun of me to give me judgment. Do you? Probably not. Let's keep reading. One day, she sent for Barak, son of Abinoam, who lived in Kidz in the land of Naphtali. She said to him, "This is what the Lord, the God of Israel, commands you." If somebody commands you to do something, is it a suggestion? Like if your mom is like, "Listen, go to your room." Is she asking you to go to your room? No, she is telling you to go to your room. So God commanded Barak to do something. If God commands you to do something, do you think you should do it? Yeah. I think it would be very wise to do it. So God commanded Barak. He said, "Call out 10,000 warriors from the tribe of Naphtali and Zebulun at Mount Tabor. And I will call out Sisera, the commander of Jabin's army, along with his chariots and warriors to the Kishron River." Seems pretty easy so far. You call out these guys, I'm going to call out these guys. This is where you're going to meet. And then God says, "And I will give you victory over them." Man, God's already laid it all out for Barak. He says, you need to do this. I'm going to do this. This is where you're going to meet, and I'm going to give you victory. That seems pretty easy to follow, right? I mean, God himself has already said, trust me in this. Have faith in me in this. How do you think felt? Brody, how do you think Barak felt? If God told you, this is what I need you to do, Brody, and this is what's going to happen, and you're going to win, how do you think you would feel about all that? You'd feel good. You'd be like, "Okay, Lord, I got this. Let's go do this," right? That's not how Barak felt. Barak looked at Deborah, and he said, I'll go, but only if you go with me. Did God command Deborah to go with Barak anywhere in that statement? Deborah replies. She says, very well, I will go with you, but. See, this is what happens. But always comes when we don't follow God's commands exactly. And that usually doesn't end well for us. So he says, but you will receive no honor in this venue. For the Lord's victory over Sisera will be at the hands of a woman. So Deborah went with Barak to Kidz, and at Kidz, Barak called out together the tribes of Zebulun and Naphtali, and 10,000 warriors went with him. Deborah also went with him. Ooh. Who do you think the hero is of the story? Deborah. Who was the hero supposed to be in this story? Barak. But let's look at Deborah, because she was the hero. So let's spend time looking at Deborah. There are some pretty cool things about Deborah. There's 3 things I really want to pull out from our story of Deborah. The first of it is that she was faithful. Deborah was faithful. She was a prophet. What is a prophet? What do you think, Adeline? Okay, you're on the right track. You want to help her out, Abigail? Okay, really good track. I'm going to take what you both said and mush it together. And it's a special it's a person who delivers a special message from God. Which means God has to have a lot of faith in you, right? To deliver that message. Are you going to give somebody a really important note to give to a friend if you don't have trust and faith in them? No, you're not. So I had to really trust her. So that's how we know that Deborah was very faithful. Deborah did exactly what God asked her to do. She delivered those important messages. And during this time, for the fact that Deborah was a female and she was a prophetess, that was a pretty big thing. Because in that day and age, a lot of men were prophets. But God saw something very special in Deborah. And he was able to use her and her faith to do really cool things. So the next thing I want to look at is Deborah. She was obedient. In the very first of our statement, we said Deborah sat under the palm of Deborah, and the Israelites would come to her for judgment. Deborah was a judge. Again, here was a female in the time frame when men were typically judges. They were the ones that ruled over Israel. But again, God saw something really special in Deborah, and she was a judge. She was obedient, which meant, if you're obedient, what does that mean? Sean, if you're obedient, what does it mean? If you obey somebody, what does it mean if you obey somebody? Yeah, you follow them, you listen to them. So if you're obedient, you follow directions. You do what's asked of you. So we know that Deborah, when she was there sitting under her own palm, when the Israelites would come to her for advice or for help in a situation, because a judge is the one that makes a determination whether you get this punishment or no punishment. But Deborah always looked to God for that. So she was obedient. This job that Deborah had, do you think it would be easy to judge people all the time? Would you want that responsibility? That everybody came to you with all of their problems? I don't think I would. But Deborah did it. She was obedient. She did her job very well. And through her obedience, God used her in mighty ways. He knew he could trust her to do what he said when he said to do it. One last thing, Deborah. She was, what does that say? Brave. Oh, we can say brave better than that. Brave. We almost have it. Let's try it one more time. Brave. Yes, she was brave. What? Why was she brave? Why was Deborah brave? What do you think, Abigail? She went with Barak to where? The grocery store? To the shopping mall? To go get something to eat? Where'd she go? Battle. What is battle? It's like a war. Yeah. So here she was. She was willing to go into battle with Barak. I myself have never gone into battle. However, my husband has. Pastor Dan has gone into battle. He is a soldier, former soldier. So I don't know what it's like to go into battle, but I do know what it's like to be on this side of it. And I know how hard the men train before they go into battle. It's a very serious thing. And Deborah was willing to say, it's okay. I got God on my side. I can trust that he's going to take care of me. And that's what he did. So she went right into battle. But you're thinking, okay, Pastor Mariah, this all happened like 1,000,000 years ago. What does this have to do with me? Well, here's how it goes. We all have things that we can use as excuses to stop each of us from doing what God has asked us. Barak used an excuse to stop him from doing what God asked him to do. And because he used an excuse, he didn't get to be the hero of the story. Because here, listen to me, hear this one real quick. If God chooses you to do something and you choose not to do it, he will find somebody else. Barak didn't do it. Deborah did. She had faith and trust in God. So let me ask you, do you think that Deborah just woke up one morning having all of this faith? Did she just get up one morning and go, whew, man, I'm going to trust God with everything. I'm going to go into battle, and I'm going to judge the Israelites, and I'm going to deliver these, whatever he says, I'm just going to do it. Did she wake up one morning and just be like, okay, I'm all in, God? Probably not. Probably not. She had to grow her faith, right? Just like you and I. Because you and I can have that same kind of faith. We can have that same kind of obedience and that same kind of bravery to go into things. How do we do that, though? Can I show you something? All right. So I got two containers here. I got a you and I got a Jesus. There's a gap there, though, right? So Jesus is Jesus. Nobody's going to be Jesus but him. And then this is you. And this paper is going to be like our faith. And that faith will bridge the gap between us and Jesus, right? Because that faith draws us closer to Jesus. And then I've got this cup, and this cup is going to represent, like, I don't know, maybe like a scenario where God is asking you to do something. He wants you to use your faith to help out with something. Will our faith hold our cup? Let's see. Whoops. Man, it doesn't seem like I got very strong faith, does it? Okay, so let's think about this. You stay there. Tell me, we said that Deborah had to grow her faith. Let's think about this. When you want to get muscles to be better at like baseball, soccer, football, basketball, you do what to get muscles? You exercise. You maybe lift weights. Maybe you run to grow the ability of your lungs, right? So you have to put time and effort into that. Let's put time and effort into our faith. What does that look like? How do I grow my faith? Adeline, trusting in God. Okay, but if I'm still trying to trust in him, how do I learn who God is? Sean. Right, so how do I learn who Jesus is? What are things I can do to learn? Abigail. Read the Bible. That's going to help me grow my faith. Sure. Adeline, how else am I going to grow my faith? I'm going to worship him, so I'm going to spend time with worship music. How else am I going to learn who God is to grow my faith? Sean, what are you thinking? You can talk to God. How do we talk to God? What's that called? To believe. Can somebody help him out? How do we talk to God? Abigail? Prayer. So we can pray. We can talk to God. That's all praying is. It's just talking to God. It's nothing real fancy, just like you talk to your friends, right? It's nothing fancy, but it's really important. So we grow our faith by talking. We pray with God. We read our Bible. We worship. We maybe go to church. How about having some good Christian friends as influences for us that we can talk to, that we can learn from, that we can encourage one another? What do you think? Will that help? Okay, so now my faith looks a little bit different, doesn't it? But it's still my faith. Will my faith hold up to what God is asking of me to do? Oh, we got some yeses and nos happening. Let's find out. Just got to get to it. My faith has grown. My faith was maybe stretched a little. It grew. So now I can trust. Who do I trust now? Jesus. So, let's look at the verse Myron tried helping us with. Psalm 62, verse 6 and 7, it says, He alone is my rock, my salvation, my fortress, where I will not be shaken. My victory and honor come from God. My victory and honor come from God alone. He is my rock, He is my refuge, a rock where no enemy can reach me. Who was writing these words? It was inspired by God. Adeline. It wasn't Deborah. Jax, who do you think wrote this in Psalms? I know it's in Psalms. Who wrote it, though? Nope. Person's name. Abigail, help me out. David. Whoa, David. That's another warrior, right? What kind of things did David do as a child? Abigail. He looked after sheep. Adeline. Killed Goliath. He also did two other really big things. Sean, what do you think he did? He did. He had faith in God, to trust God, because while he was watching his father's sheep, like Abigail said, do you know what else came out after his sheep? What? He would sing, but a lion and a bear at separate times came out to attack his father's sheep, and he killed both of them with his bare hands. David was a warrior. David grew his faith. Why am I telling you about David? Because David was a boy when all of this happened. He might have been just a little bit older than some of you. I want you guys to understand that even as kids, you can have great faith. You can apply your faith to do great things and trust in God to do great things. The last part of that verse is, He is my refuge, a rock where no enemy can reach me. David had enemies. But where did he put his faith and his trust? In God. That's a pretty bold statement to know that you can say, I'm going to trust you, God. Even with everything that I've done in my life, even with everybody that's coming against me in my life, I can trust in you. David trusted God to protect him. Deborah trusted God to protect him. Here's my challenge to you. Listen up. Gentlemen, here's my challenge. Are you going to step up and do what God is asking of you? Or are you going to sit back and let somebody else have the victory because you didn't have the faith in God? I'm going to ask you to close your eyes because we're getting a little bit distracted over here. Everybody close your eyes. You're just as bad. You can't point fingers at a man. That's not cool. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. I want you to think. because there's some things we're going to pray about today. What area do you need help so you can grow your faith? Meaning, what do you need to do so that when God asks you to do something, you step out with faith like Deborah had. You step out with the willingness of Deborah. You step out and say, God, I know you've got my back, like David did as a child. What do you need to do so you can have that kind of faith? Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, God. So as you're praying about that, and God might be putting something on your mind and in your heart, and I hope that He is. Because as you learn what's stopping you from having that faith, you can work on removing that. So here's my next thing that I want you guys to pray about. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to open up the altars. Pastor Dan will be up here for the gentlemen, and I'm going to be over here for the ladies. Because you might be saying, Pastor Mariah, I just really need a little bit extra prayer. I need help in understanding how to pray for this. Because my next thing that I'm asking you to pray about is this. What do you need to stop using as an excuse so God can use you? So if you want prayer, Pastor Dan and I would be more than happy to pray for you. If you don't, you can stay at your seat and you can pray and you can talk to God. But that's what we're going to do for the next couple minutes. We're just spending time with God. Spending time asking Him about faith. What do I need to grow it? And what do I need to stop doing and using as an excuse so that when God asks, you can be used?